Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome into On Deck. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully I'm loud and clear. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Gonna revisit my visit to Gwinnett last night in just a few minutes, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Gonna have a pretty good autograph of the day and a couple stories from there. But before we do, I would be remiss if we did not talk about the day Tucker Davidson had today, and frankly the day that the Braves offense had today. It was a good game to watch. If you're a new Braves fan, if you're just getting into watching the Braves, it would probably have sparked your interest. First off, Acuna continued to be pretty good at the plate. He had a hit and 2 walks today. You know, he's definitely feared. I believe he's still tied for the MLB record. Vlad Guerrero Jr. might change that any minute now. But for right now, Ronald Acuna Jr. is tied for the lead in homers all across Major League Baseball. Ozzie Albies had a great day today. 3 hits. He had a double off the wall that escaped Soto's grasp. 2 RBIs. I mean, what else can you ask for? I mean, the offense was, they put up 5 runs today. Ozzie and Dansby both got their 500th hit in their career today. I don't know how you guys feel about Bally Sports taking over, but I have liked their little milestone marker. And we've been following along Dansby and Ozzie getting to 500 hits, and it was looking like they might do it around the same time. Sure enough, same day. The next big milestone will probably be Ronald Acuna's 100th homer. That will probably be within the next couple of days the way he's going right now. I believe he's only 2 away. So hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later. Going to get to you guys' questions, so make sure you get them in. Make sure you get your super chats in. Let's talk about Tucker Davidson. 5 2/3 innings pitched today. Only gave up 1 hit. He did walk 5. He also struck out 5. I thought he looked really good. And I'll tell you this, after my visit to Gwinnett last night, we're going to talk about another pitching prospect in a few minutes. But Tucker Davidson has been one that you guys have hyped up a lot, and rightfully so. I sort of listened to the radio prior to watching the game today, but on the radio they were talking about just how much he's done in Gwinnett. And, his last start he did pretty good. The Braves, I think, ended up losing, but it was not up to him. It was up to no late-inning offense. Tucker has been more than okay coming up from Gwinnett here and there. Is he here to stay? More on that later. But I think Tucker definitely has a good future ahead of him. I'd like to see him find a spot, but, it might not be right now. Obviously, he's a little bit ahead of Kyle Wright, Bryce Wilson possibly, if they're calling him up like this in a spot start. Maybe he has more options. There's a lot that goes into that. But who really knows? I think Tucker Davidson for sure has I think pretty soon it's going to be Ian Anderson, Tucker Davidson, and crew leading the charge. So hopefully we'll see him in the show on a regular basis sooner rather than later. Josh Tomlin came in after him. He got a strikeout and just over an inning of work. Sean Newcomb came in. He was pretty much lights out. Gave up 1 hit, but he also struck out 2. Will Smith, we've all seen the ups and downs of Will Smith. Today, I would probably consider it a down. He did strike out 2, but he also gave up a run and gave up 2 hits. He's just been hit or miss. I get a little uneasy when Will Smith gets brought in a close game. I still think it's his job until someone else takes it, but right now Will Smith has been up and down this year, just like the Braves have. Inconsistency is a killer, and the inconsistency that the Braves have had has been quite aggravating. I believe they're now 3.5 games out of first. They're tied for second, I think. At least they were prior to today. So we'll see kind of what happens with that. Hopefully they'll be able to get a win streak together. That's really, the Braves have really missed out on any kind of big win streak. Hopefully that will change soon. Today's game was a big deal for a lot of reasons. One, because the Braves had just lost 2 in a row. They needed to at least split the series, but also because of the upcoming series. They take on the Dodgers next, and the Dodgers is a very tough opponent. They've had a rocky road this year themselves, but they are a very tough opponent here. And, with the pitching they have, it leads to the question of what our pitching is. And, when you're walking in there with Charlie Morton, who has looked really good lately. He's had a couple rough starts this year, but he has looked good in his past couple. Hopefully that will continue, and hopefully Ian Anderson will bounce back from his last start. Hopefully that will be the case. But the Dodgers have looked pretty good as of late. They acquired a Hall of Famer in Albert Pujols, who has almost hit a walk-off homer, has hit a couple of homers, has had a really good time in LA so far. Hopefully he won't have as such a good time in Atlanta. But the Braves need to get some wins against the Dodgers if they're going to bounce back and get up there with the Mets. You know, the Mets series that happened a while back wasn't really a series because the Mets, frankly, I mean, we didn't have any games. It was rain delay after rain delay. So, you know, the Mets have a lot of games to make up. The Braves have a couple of games to make up. And the Braves are 4 games back. So hopefully they'll be able to do that. The Phillies, I stand corrected. The Braves are second by themselves over the Phillies now. The Phillies game today was postponed, so that might change sooner rather than later. But we'll see. I think right now a lot of people are questioning just how good the Braves actually are. And if their success is ever going to really happen. And I think that's a fair question. But I want you to realize that this team is full of guys that want to win. I think A.J. Minter's play the other day with Ozzie Albies is a prime example of that. You know, he laid out, could have got stepped on, you know, but he put it all out there, and he wants to win. I think a lot of these guys have that same attitude. I would be surprised if any of them didn't have that same attitude. With that said, I think we have to understand things happen like this. Things, you know, obstacles, struggles. Freddie Freeman is a prime example. Freddie Freeman is really struggling right now. 0 for 4 today, has 1 RBI in his last 40 at-bats, or some kind of crazy stat like that. He's going through a rough patch. You know, you could chalk it up to him being in his own head. You can chalk it up to a lot of things, trying to do too much. The Atlanta offense has been quite inconsistent. That's not necessarily Freeman's fault. Chip Carey said this today. It's not necessarily his fault, but he is the guy that, you know, frankly, the team looks at, the fans look at to kind of spark that offense. And Ronald Acuna has done a very good job of that. He's been aggressive at the plate, been aggressive on the base paths, you know, and gotten a couple sparks. But, you know, when Ronald Acuna hits a single, gets on base, steals, and gets to second, Freddie Freeman then strikes out, doesn't put a ball in play, and then Ozzie Albies comes up and hits a double off, frankly, a foot below a home run. You know, it makes you wonder what's going on with Freddie. I would tell you, I would encourage you to realize that Freddie Freeman is going to be just fine. As bad as he's playing, he's got, I think, 13 homers, and he's got about a 230 average. That is not bad across MLB. It's not Freddie Freeman's standard. It's not what we're used to with Freddie Freeman, but it is a decent line. I do want it to be a lot better. I want him to break out. Hopefully that'll be the case. I mean, this is a guy that won the MVP award last year. You would think at some point he's going to turn it around. I think he will. I think he's starting to get a bit frustrated. Frank Hoover mentioned that today as well. You know, I think an angry Freddie Freeman will be an interesting sight to see. It's not something that we see a lot. Hopefully it means good things. Before we go any further, I think it's time to pay the bills real quick if you don't mind. Llerandi Gloves. Go check these guys out. Let me put their graphic up on the screen for you. Go check these guys out, guys. LlerandIGloves.com. Phone number's right there. They make the best gloves on the market, customizable, 18 different colors, all different kinds of styles. I promise you, go check them out, LlerandIGloves.com. And look, they're the best prices, I'm telling you. For any kind of glove of this quality that's customizable, they are the best prices. So if you're headed out to the ballpark, I would encourage you, go check out LlerandIGloves.com. Get you a glove before you head out there. Get your kid a glove. Get your brother a glove. Get whoever you want to get one a glove. Father's Day is right around the corner. My dad just got done asking me what I'm going to get him for Father's Day. And, you know, that wouldn't be a bad choice. I'm telling you. These gloves are high quality and they're worth your money. Go check them out. At least go give them a look. With that said, let's move on. So the Braves, like I said, are heading into the Dodgers series, and they need to get some wins. Hopefully, you know, that'll happen. A lot of people are wanting to know, is Tucker Davidson here to stay? I don't think so right now. I know he had a really good day today. He very well may. But the rumor that I'm hearing, you know, I just took my visit to Gwinnett. And by the way, I got some merch. You should go check out Gwinnett's store. They got a lot of good stuff in there. So with that said, the rumor mill, you know, I like to talk to you guys when I go to stadiums. I like to, you know, see what you guys think. I like to talk to you guys here in the chat. I like to talk to you guys on YouTube as much as I can. But there's nothing quite like talking to the people that are season ticket holders and are diehards that are getting, you know, autographs every day down by the dugout. There's nothing quite like it. And I did that yesterday. And, you know, the rumor is that Shane Greene was going to pitch tonight and he's going to get called up tomorrow. Now, whether that's the truth or not, I don't know. But if that were to happen, I think, you know, Tucker Davidson, the way the broadcast portrayed it today, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw Tucker Davidson go back down, maybe get called up later when they need a spot start, Shane Greene take his spot, and then we go from there. That wouldn't surprise me at all. If that's the case, I don't mind the move. I would like Tucker to get some more MLB time and not be sent down and sent back up all the time. I've never really loved that strategy. But at the same time, if that's what the team needs, maybe it's what the team needs. I definitely think the team needs Shane Greene. I definitely think that's a priority. The Braves are paying him a decent contract, and they're expecting some results. So hopefully he's ready to go. The rumor is also that he was ready to go before he ever got to Gwinnett. It's probably the case. I haven't really been able to see a lot of Gwinnett games, but from what I gathered last night, Shane Greene has been absolutely dominant on the mound. And hopefully that will continue as he moves forward into actual Major League Baseball. But I would tell you this. I think the Braves are on the verge of actually breaking out. It might not happen this week. It might not happen against the Dodgers. But I think their offense is starting to get back to normal. Freddie Freeman excluded. Acuna's been killing it all year. Ozzie Albies is rolling around. Austin Riley continues to be a steady hand in the batter's box. In the bottom of the order, has looked decent. Dansby Swanson got his 500th hit today. I really think it's time to start believing in these Braves. I know a lot of you guys have lost faith. Every time I come on here, I'm telling you to keep your faith. Keep it. I'm telling you, these guys are going to be good. And they're going to break out sooner rather than later. I really think that's the case. Ultimately, I think it's time to change the attitude. We've had a lot of things not go our way. The All-Star game at the beginning of the year, the incidents this past couple of weeks. And I think, the fans got to change that. The team can do what they can. The individuals can do what they can. Acuna's putting up MVP numbers right now, but if the fans aren't believing, what Nick Saban calls it rat poison, word gets around, and I think it's time to change the mojo, change the attitude, and, it's time for that. All right, let's get into some of you guys' comments before we move any further. Michael Carey, Acuna is too aggressive with risk. I assume you mean runners in scoring position. I would agree, but I also like the aggressiveness, specifically for Ronald Acuna. I wouldn't necessarily like it with anyone else. I mentioned Ozuna a minute ago. I wouldn't necessarily like Ozuna being that aggressive with runners in scoring position just because he has such a wild swing. And that style I've never particularly loved. But Ronald Acuna is pretty consistent. He likes his pitch. He likes a fastball. And he likes the away pitch. If he's aggressive, I'm okay with it. And not to mention he's got light tower power. Not necessarily against it. Now, do I think he should take his walks every now and then? Yes. But if he's got a runner on second and third, having Acuna on first isn't necessarily what I want. I'm okay with either taking a sac fly or taking a chance on getting a base hit to the outfield. So as much as I would like him to be a little more patient at the plate, I also kind of like it. And not to mention the numbers speak for themselves. But we'll see. Michael Carey also says to send Luke Jackson down. I disagree. Luke Jackson is not the best arm we have in the pen, but he's certainly not the worst. To me, Luke Jackson has surprised a lot of people this year. Not necessarily blowing anybody away. He is a bit scary coming out of the mound. I had somebody ask me if I wanted to admit that I was wrong about Luke Jackson the other day, because I, at one time, had the same opinion you do, Michael. And I said yes, because Luke Jackson he went the longest time without giving up a run this year. I think he's like the only reliever to do that at the time. He's given up a run since, but you look at him versus Will Smith, who struggles in the ninth, Grant Dayton, who's been up and down, and don't get me started. But I kind of like Luke Jackson right now in the majors. He still scares me, but I do like him in the majors. Hopefully they'll be able to use him as a tool moving into a postseason run. Justin Goldberg, hello, buddy. I'll believe in this Braves team once they have a winning record. I get that. I do. But just keep in mind how many obstacles the Braves have had. Okay? And I've said this I don't know how many times, but I'm going to say it again. As bad as the Braves have played, they're in second place in the division. A very competitive division. This is a division that has the Mets, the Phillies, the Marlins, and the Nationals. Okay, the Marlins somehow or another are not in last place. The Nationals are. You're competing with frankly, the Phillies got throwaway money, and think about how much money the Braves have spent versus how much money the Mets and the Phillies have spent. I'll take the Braves any day. And I also think this is a team. I would honestly, if I was putting money on it right now, on the team that I thought would win the division this year, it would still be the Atlanta Braves. I wouldn't care if they were in fourth place because I think they've handled things the right way. I like the way they have their at-bats. The coaching staff knows what they're doing. They're not taking any kind of crazy risk. I would prefer to root for the Braves because I really feel like, if we're being honest, they have their heads on straight more than any other coaching staff. And yes, they've had their incidents. Ozuna is a perfect example. But at the end of the day, who would you trust more? The guy that says we're going to handle this the right way, the responsible way, and Alex Anthopoulos, we're not going to sell the farm for one single year? Or the Mets, like a couple years ago, they said we're ready to win right now. And I think we all know that a couple years ago the Mets weren't touching a division title. Phillies, same thing. $300 million on Bryce Harper. Can't really build a team around him with that. And yeah, they're in third place, but they've never been able to compete with the Braves because the Braves have so much built-up talent in their farm system. Or at least they did at one time. And now that talent is now being fruitful in the majors, and hopefully that will continue. We're seeing those guys, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, Ronald Acuna. We're seeing those guys come up. But right now, if I had to pick a team to win the division, it would still be the Braves. And they're not out of it. They're 3 games back, guys. We're, 50-something games into the season. We still have over 110 games left. I'll take my chances. But we'll see. Justin Goldberg, you made me laugh, but I'll read that in a second. Is Tucker Davidson this season's Ian Anderson? Because that would be a welcome surprise. That's a really good way to put that. That's a really good question as well. I don't know. Ian Anderson came up, and I don't think he ever went back down. I don't know if that's necessarily in the cards with Tucker Davidson. Now, trust me, I'm not against it. He very well may be. But when you got Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Drew Smiley, Ian Anderson, he may be that 5th guy. I just don't necessarily know that that's what the Braves have planned. If it is, I'm all for it. But the way it was presented in the broadcast, and look, those guys are, if you don't think Chip Carey and Jeff Rancour have talked to the Braves management, you're crazy. Those guys, the way they put it, it's, well, maybe we'll see him in a spot start, later on in a couple of weeks, but that they didn't make it seem like he's here to stay. I would like to see him stay. I think the best way to adapt to the major leagues is to, frankly, pitch against major league hitting and vice versa. I really think that's the best way to go about it. But I don't know if that's necessarily in the cards. Now, look, if he can be what Ian Anderson was last year and pitch in the postseason like Ian Anderson did last year, again, like you said, I'm all for it, and it would be a very welcome surprise. Again, I just don't know that that's necessarily in the cards. Justin Goldberg made me laugh also with this comment. Really, really funny comment. I hate myself for saying it, but Luke Jackson has been decent. That was me last week. Thank you for saying that. Grant Priest, let's see what you said. Any trades they need to make in the wake of the Ozuna incident? Well, I said last week that I wasn't really going to speak on the Ozuna incident a ton, but this is a question that, is a good one. To me, I don't know that I'm ready to say make a trade, and I'll tell you why. With Ozuna, the thing about it is, it's still up in the air. The court system isn't done yet. Won't be for a few weeks. With that said, who do you trade? Who do you want to get rid of? Propose that to me first before I answer it necessarily, but I would say no. And reason being, there's free agency market. The only one that I would see making a trade possibly would be for like Charlie Blackmon, and I'd probably give some pitching prospects, not to say that we don't care about, but some pitching prospects that we don't necessarily have written down in our, Excel spreadsheet as favorites. I would probably do that. I don't know what you could get. I don't know if you could get Charlie Blackmon for that. But I do know that he's on the last leg of his contract. He went to Georgia Tech. I think he could fill that spot. But I also think there's some room for some free agency. Yasiel Puig's out there, and I think he'll take any deal he can get. And there's others. There's other free agents out there. I don't know that that's necessarily, I don't know that that's necessarily where the Braves are going to go, but it would be interesting. Trades are always an interesting topic because I think a lot of people get so excited about a trade, but don't put one foot in front of the other too quickly, because the Braves have a lot of talent, right? I've heard a lot of people criticize Christian Pache, and look, I get it. We all heard the hype on Christian Pache, and when he comes up and he's hitting a 122 batting average and virtually no power numbers, you get a little frustrated, even though he's a great defensive center fielder. Supposedly, you're not seeing results right now, and I get that, especially after we have prospects like Ronald Acuna come in and just kill it in his rookie season, his rookie campaign. And then you have Austin Riley come up and have 18 homers in a month. And then you have Mike Soroka come up and he pitches excellent. Max Fried comes up, he develops quickly. You have all these guys come up. Dansby Swanson took him a while, but you have all these guys come up and they have an instant impact. I think we all were hoping Christian Pache could adapt to the major leagues quickly, and that just hasn't happened yet. I'll tell you a theory that interests me. Grant, I'll tell you a theory that interests me. I've said it a couple times already, but I did go to Gwinnett last night. There was a guy playing there that is a shortstop that, in theory could play outfield. Now, they weren't playing him in outfield, so I don't think it's going to happen, but Orlando Arcia has been killing the ball. He's got a lot of power in his bat. Compared to the other guys he was playing with last night, he didn't hit any homers, but the foul balls he hit were missiles. And I'll tell you, it would be interesting if they decided to pull him up too. But, right now I think until the Ozuna thing is handled, it's Guillermo Heredia, Abraham Almani, and A-Ray Adrianza filling that spot. And to be honest with you, they've been all right. Specifically, A-Ray has been really good off the bench this year. I don't know how he's going to do with a starting in a starting spot, but we'll see. You're probably going to see some moving around of some players that you didn't really expect to see over the next few weeks. But I think ultimately the Braves, especially if MLB were to terminate Ozuna's contract, obviously they're going to have to go get a bat. I think left-handed more so than right-handed, but they got to get somebody to protect Freddie ultimately. And look, Ozzie Albies has been great, but I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't know if Ozzie Albies is as feared of a hitter as someone like Marcell Ozuna was, where Freddie Freeman was seeing pitches. And you can't tell me, Freddie Freeman, I think today had 3 outside pitches and a ball in the dirt. He's not getting a lot of pitches to hit. And I think that's obviously affecting his average. It's affecting whether or not he can hit the ball to a certain spot, and it's certainly affecting his play. But we'll see. Let's see. Bill Gates, if Ozuna gets a suspension from MLB, do you think the Braves will call up one of their young outfield prospects? I think the one leading the charge, Bill Gates, is honestly Christian Pache. And with that said, look, I know we're all excited about Drew Waters. Michael Harris, just remember Michael Harris is like 19 years old. He's not a very old guy. Trey Harris is probably the one that I would lean to out of those two. But honestly, it's Pache, Waters, Trey Harris in that order. And if Pache is the cream of the crop and he's not ready, I don't really want to risk bringing anyone else up too early and getting their head on a swivel. I just don't necessarily want to see that. I think ultimately what will happen is you may see it. If the Braves get out of contention, you may see it. And that could happen, I guess. But I think ultimately you're going to see experienced guys take that spot, fill that void. And until the end of it. I think what could happen is, there's been a lot of talk about Ozuna's contract being terminated by Rob Manfred, and that could happen. And if that were to happen, the Braves would have $53 million to play with over the next 4 years, and that would be pretty interesting to see that turn around. We'll see what happens, but I think Ozuna is definitely going to get suspended in some form or fashion. I don't know. I think at that point you'll see some move made. I don't know what it'll be, but you will see some move made. But to answer your question, Christian Pache, Drew Waters, and then Trey Harris in that order. Justin Goldberg, you asked me, did I hear that Shea Langoliers hit 3 homers today? Yes, and it did not surprise me. Shea Langoliers probably needs to get promoted to AAA. Shea Langoliers, the day he had today was really good. I'm not speaking out of turn there. I think Shea Langoliers is really talented, and we're going to see him in MLB, within the next couple of years. I think Shea, we have a catching void right now. We got William Contreras, who's really young, is a pretty good hitter, but behind the dish, he kind of struggles. We saw some pass balls the other night, and Shea Langoliers, the pop time. We've all heard about the pop time. It's crazy what he can do on the field. But his bat speed is what impressed me. There was a video, I think in spring training, not this past season, but the year prior, where they had him in the cage, and the bat speed he had through the zone was crazy. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he hit 3 homers today. I saw that. I was impressed by it, but it didn't surprise me. I'm really excited for Shea Langoliers. Almost as excited as I was for a lot of those other prospects. I was really excited for William Contreras because I got a William Contreras ball up there signed. I met him in spring training a few years ago. Really nice guy, really outgoing guy, really a fun guy to talk to. And, ultimately, I think they're both going to be the catching core in the future. I met Jonathan Lucroy last night. He's in Gwinnett, in case you didn't know. It would be interesting if, Kevin Brown or not Kevin Brown. That's what a throwback. Kevin Smith doesn't work out. It'd be interesting to see if they go get Lucroy for a veteran approach, but I think that is probably more so given to Jeff Mathis. But I would like to, it'd be interesting if they call Lucroy up. He's down there in Gwinnett. He was hitting in the cage last night. If you want to see more on that, you should go check out my video from this morning. But, we'll see. The catching core right now is kind of weak. Obviously, we're missing d'Arnaud. That doesn't help things. I think if it was d'Arnaud Contreras, we would have no complaints out of the catching core. And it's unfortunate. Hopefully, d'Arnaud comes back, prior to the postseason. If that happens, it'll be a really interesting turn of events. But we'll see. Rated rookie. I don't think Pache is coming back soon. I'll tell you this. He was in Gwinnett last night. He didn't play, but he was there. He was sitting in the dugout. I don't think he'll go any lower than that. I don't think you're going to see him go back to Double-A. He's probably going to hang around Gwinnett a while. He may get called up here and there if his bat, starts looking a little better. But to me, the only thing that's going to help his bat is seeing Major League pitching. I think Brian Snicker hit the nail on the head when he said it. I just don't know that the Braves can afford to put his bat in the lineup like they could at one time because, to me, they're counting on their bottom of the order a lot more than they used to. Because it used to be Ronald Acuna, Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud, Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, right? And you put Pache at the back end of that, you're probably going to do just fine. But you lose d'Arnaud, you lose Ozuna, Austin Riley kicks it into gear, but then Freddie Freeman's not hitting so well. Where does Pache, if he's not producing, something's got to give. And I think that's the difference here. Because I think if our team was fully stacked, you would see Pache in the Major League level right now. I just don't think they can afford to leave him there for the time being if he's not going to hit well. I've seen a lot of people get upset with the way he's playing. I don't agree. I think you're being a little too hard on him. This is someone who's young. This is someone who we knew was not going to have a bat. We knew in advance that his bat was not going to his bat wasn't going to turn heads at any point. We knew that going into the season. So to be upset about his bat somehow not catching a miracle and turning into something is a bit unfair. So take some time. Now, look, I know I'm always the guy saying that you're being unfair to someone. I did it with Fultonevich. I did it with Austin Riley. But I was right about both of them. Fultonevich is pitching okay in Texas, and Austin Riley's a man on a mission right now. So just give it some time. I think Pache's going to come around. I don't know that he'll be at the Major League level soon, rated rookie, but I think he's going to be just fine. I don't know if we should hype him up to the levels we did, but I think he's going to be just fine. Jacob Rush. I don't know how to say your name. Hopefully I got it right. One of those two. What's the wait with the Freeman extension? The way Alex Anthopoulos talks, it's usually something along the lines of, there's a lot that goes into that. That's what he said when Marcell Ozuna got signed. It took forever to get Ozuna signed again. And ultimately, I think they're going to wait to the end of the season. Freeman, I don't think us, getting a signature on a piece of paper from Freddie Freeman is going to magically change his batting average. I don't think that's what he's worried about it. I just don't think that's the worry out of Freeman. I don't think he's worried whether or not he wants to come back to the Braves. The Braves want him back. Freeman wants to be back. The money will meet in the middle. It will be fine. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see a Freddie Freeman extension. It just may be in the off season, and there's nothing wrong with that. He might go into free agency, but if you think that he's going to choose another team over the Braves, I would be very surprised. Now, if it happens, you can call my bluff, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I would be more than surprised. You could probably take my paycheck because that's how much I'd be willing to bet that he comes to the Braves next year. So don't worry about it. In terms of affecting his attitude, I wouldn't dig in that deep. I think he's honestly just struggling at the plate right now. But I also think it'll turn around. Joseph Alvarez, good to hear from you. This is a bad team, in the words of Bill Parcells. You are what your record says you are, and our record says we are a bad team. Really? Because we are 26-28. I would say that record probably says we're about a mediocre team. At least. I think we're at least mediocre. I don't think we're bad yet. I think bad, let me see what I think bad would be. Now, the Nationals are 23-30. That might be bad. Or the Pirates are 20-34. That would probably be pretty bad. 20-37 Diamondbacks, they kind of take the cake. They're doing pretty terrible. So that's just in the National League. I didn't even cover the American League. I think we got to get out of here. We're doing this right now. We're kind of having tunnel vision. I think we got to have a bit of an open mind and realize that this team is a bit playoff hungover. I think ultimately this is a team that knows they're good. They know at some point they can break out, and they're playing like they know they're good. Look, if you think they don't want to win, I would refer you to the Minter play the other night. All you got to do is go on Twitter and search AJ Minter. It will pop right up. The play he made the other day says he wants to win. They didn't end up winning the game, but he played to win. And everyone is playing like that. If you think Freddie Freeman doesn't want to hit, look at how he acted after he struck out the third time today. Okay? He wants it. It just doesn't always land. Baseball's a funny game. I don't think we're a bad team. I think we're a very good team. I think we're a very talented team. I think we've had a very unlucky year. And I think that's a very fair thing to say, considering all the obstacles that we're having to face. And because of all the obstacles we're having to face, a lot of people want to fire, and terminate contracts and, get rid of coaches. I'm not for that. I'm really not. If you continue to see pitching arms go down, you might see a change in some training, in some of the, health and wellness kind of thing. But I don't think you're going to see a major change. I would be surprised, and I don't think you need to. Certainly not at the managerial position. I think you would be stupid to replace Brian Snitker. I've seen a lot of people say, well, if Snitker makes dumb decisions, Snitker has a reason for every decision he makes. Watch the press conferences. But don't get me started. Cole Duke, cool name. What do you think about getting Adam Frazier? I hear he can play outfield. Not against it. I would be interested in anybody that can play outfield at the moment and that can hit. Ultimately, I think we're going to have to see Ozuna through and figure out what's going on with that because we do have $53 million unanswered right now. But if he's going to be out for the rest of the season, if he's going to be out for, a substantial time, if you don't have to pay him for this season or the majority of it, that would help. I don't really know what's going to happen, and until it does, I can't really comment on what look, you can bring me any name. You could bring me Michael Brantley. You could bring me Charlie Blackmon. You could bring me George Springer. You could bring me, any kind of outfield name you can think of. Mike Trout. You can bring them in. You can bring them all. Of course, I'd want them all. But until we know what the Braves are dealing with, it's really hard for me to comment on it. And it's really easy for me to go, yeah, let's trade and go get X, Y, and Z, right? I would be a very generic YouTube channel if I did that. I'm telling you how it is. The Braves don't know what's going to happen. They're having to attend court dates right now to figure out what's going on with Ozuna. So be patient, realize it's going to take some time before we really know what's going on. But we'll see. Ian Allen, a good buddy of mine from way back when. Thoughts on Dansby and Ozzie both getting 500 career hits. I think it says a lot about the two middle infielders that they both got their 500 career hit today. One got it in a lot shorter time. I'm not going to speak to who, but one got it in a lot shorter time. I think it's a really cool moment for both of them. It's a great photo op for the Instagram. But other than that, I think it just is a stepping stone of their long careers, hopefully, as Atlanta Braves. Bill Gates back again. If Luke Jackson shuts down the LA Dodgers this weekend, will you finally give him the respect the legend deserves? Look, I gave it to him last week. Okay, I like Luke Jackson. I'll tell you a funny Luke Jackson story real quick. I met Luke Jackson outside of Truist Park, 2 years ago, and I didn't. It was him for sure. Like I knew it was him, but he rode up on a skateboard. And if that doesn't speak to who Luke Jackson is, I don't know what does. I got a picture with him. I wish I had it ready to show you, but I don't. I got a picture with him. He was super nice. I guess he lives somewhere in the Battery. And he was riding to the stadium in a sweatshirt, a backpack, and a skateboard. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever. But that said, look, if he shuts down the Dodgers, I think we all should give him a little bit of respect. I think Luke Jackson has earned some respect anyway. I don't think he's pitched bad this year at all. And certainly more respect than a lot of fans give him. But we'll see if that happens. I'm not going to bet on it. How about that? Miguel Frica, many Atlanta sports announcers are saying that Ozuna will not come back to the Braves. Look, here's the thing. I said last week I didn't want to talk about it. I still really don't. Certainly not in any regard to the personal life. But I will say this. If he doesn't come back to the Braves, I think the Braves, that would only benefit the Braves at this point because of the drama, because of everything going on. And I think that would only benefit the Braves. I think if he comes back, it's another obstacle they got to deal with. If they don't have to pay him, that obviously is going to help matters. But Ozuna has bigger problems in baseball right now. I think we need to, give him a space to figure that out. But we'll see. Rated rookie. Everyone was beating down on Austin Riley about his bat, and look at him now. I assume you're talking about Christian Pache. I was the guy saying believe in Austin Riley. I hope you guys remember that. And look at him now. You got that right. Good. I'm glad I got your name right. One of those was right, Jacob. Bill Gates, is Freeman hurt or something? He hasn't been playing the game with a smile on his face lately. Yeah, we've certainly seen a different version of Freddie Freeman. But I think some base hits, some balls that land will certainly help them. I think that would help. We'll see. I really think Freddie Freeman, if there's one guy you can believe in to turn something around, it's Freddie Freeman. So just have faith, just like Rated Rookie does in Pache there. What is happening with Freeman, the lack of enthusiasm of him, you can just see it in his eyes. Look, guys, we can watch any given game, we can watch any given moment, any given highlight reel and see one thing and and pick it out. I really think that's just a too easy thing to do, and I think it's a bit unfair. I think we honestly need to slow down, realize this is Freddie Freeman we're talking about, National League MVP from last season, the guy that's been on the Braves for better part of a decade, and, look at the numbers he's going to put up. Look at the numbers that he put up last year. Look at the numbers that he put up, every year prior, and just realize, give it time. We'll see. Let me see. William Fogum, you're going to be my last question tonight. If you want any more questions answered, you're going to have to super chat. I am so sorry, but I got to wrap it up. William Fogum, does Shane Greene get called up for the Dodgers series? I think so. I said it earlier. Rumor mill is that he pitched tonight, and he's going to get called up tomorrow. You heard it here first. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but if it does, you heard it here first. With that, the corresponding move I would honestly think is going to be Tucker Davidson. I said that a little earlier. Don't know if that's necessarily going to happen. It might be someone else going down, maybe a bullpen piece, if they want to go with Tucker after the day he had today, considering it was a pretty good day. But I don't know. I definitely think you see Greene called up for the Dodgers series. I think they definitely need some help in the pen if they're going to compete with what the Dodgers have as a pitching staff. So with that, we are going to move into just a short, conversation about the Gwinnett Stripers. If you didn't see this video, first thing, the prices are unbeatable. I paid $30 and I sat, no joke, right behind home plate. Okay, like first row. And I had a great view. I was the way it's promoted, I'll just tell you, I was closer to home plate than the pitcher was. And it was just a really good experience. I would really encourage you, if you've never been to Gwinnett, this was a gym that I didn't really know existed. I've always been told, you need to go to Gwinnett. You need to go to Gwinnett. You guys were right. I should have listened earlier. With that said, we are going to talk about an autograph of the day. Pretty good one from Gwinnett, of all places. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Before we do, look at this new hat I got. Gwinnett Stripers hat. Not a bad price either. Go check those guys out. And they're, by the way, the fan service there, unbeatable. Okay, just a really good time, really good prices, and a really good game. I keep saying the Braves, but they're future Braves. The Stripers won 11-3 over the Jumbo Shrimp, which is a Marlins AAA team. So that was a fun watch. Kyle Muller was on the mound. I've got some video here that I'm going to show you. Kyle Muller. Enough to sign my baseball. He is going to be the autograph of the day. So Kyle Muller, future Braves starting pitcher, future Braves star, I think. Pretty good autograph last night, and you can get one just like it if you go to Gwinnett. They're right there. A lot of them sign autographs. I also got Tanner Roark, of all people. If you remember him, he used to play on the Nationals. He is within the Braves AAA minor league system, and he was super nice to me. Signed the ball right on the sweet spot, so that was a pretty good moment as well. I would really encourage you guys, go check out the Gwinnett Stripers. All you got to do is go to their website, guys. The ticket prices, I'm not going to say them here. I'm going to make you go look at them. They're going to make you want to buy a ticket, and it's just that simple. Also, special thanks to Cody Swanson. I hope you're watching. If you're not, it's okay. Special thanks to him. He got me a free parking pass in Lot A, and couldn't have been better than that. I paid very minimal money to go see the Stripers game, but I already made up my mind. I'm definitely going back within the next few weeks. So that I'll announce when I'm going, and if you can go, please go. I'd love to see you guys. As always, I love to talk about baseball with you, whether it be here, whether it be there, wherever it is. I want to talk baseball with you. So to do that, to make sure you can talk baseball with me from now on, go ahead and do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell for notifications so you can stay updated with everything I do. By the way, I'm going to Cooperstown next week. That'll be probably be the next time you see me. Unless something big happens over the next few days with the Braves, you're probably going to see me next in Cooperstown doing an interview there. So hopefully, maybe I'll go behind the scenes. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really know what the setup's going to be. But it's the Hall of Fame, guys. It should be something pretty entertaining to watch. And got an interview with the curator, I believe. Person to be named later. But it's going to be exciting, and I'm really excited for it. So I'm flying out Sunday. I'll be there at the Hall of Fame Monday. You'll probably get the video by Tuesday or Wednesday. No promises. But make sure you tune in for that. Make sure you share this channel. Make sure you tell your friends about this channel. Make sure they are informed. And to be informed with the Braves, best thing you can do is to subscribe to this channel. Before we go, I got to pay the bills real quick. Go check out LlerandIGloves.com. Their website link is right there. Make sure you go check them out, guys. The best leather for the best prices, I absolutely promise. I mean, look at this glove. Now, look, this is a pretty basic glove, okay? It's pretty simple, I know. You can make yours as outlandish as you want. You can put your name on it. You can put your logo on it. I got it pretty simple. I like it simple. I'm a very simple person. But you can go do yours whatever way you want. So make sure you go check out www.LlerandIGloves.com. Phone number on the screen as well. With that, guys, I am going to get out of here. I do appreciate you watching. And make sure you do subscribe to the channel. See you guys later.